So I got an email about a sprinkler repair, and I'm going to take you on it. So we're going to troubleshoot to find out what's going on with this one. So I got an email that says, I think we might have a busted sprinkler line at their address. Could Tyler, this guy, go look at it today? It's in the back. Then they sent some pictures. So let's go investigate and find out what's happening. Hey, there we go. Yeah, looks just like those pictures. So the first thing I want to figure out is where this is all coming from, obviously. But we have some low spots that the water could be accumulating that could be throwing us off. Okay, so there's a sprinkler head here, and it looks like there might be some flow of water. Yeah, you can kind of see that flow there next to the sprinkler head. So one way to find out is, you see how clear that water is? So muddy it up a little bit, and then you watch it to see where the water is coming from. See it there? So there's definitely water flowing here. So that could be an indication of the leak. But I'm going to turn the zone on and we'll find out for sure. Well, there's a little bit there. Sure enough, look. However, found this guy. And this water flowing here, down here, down this way. So we have a little leak there, but this guy, I didn't expect it. Look, that is split right there. Wow, that's cool. Also, they have this blocking it, so that's not helping. So after about 3 minutes, this thing is still running, which tells me there's another problem. And there is. The valve's not shutting off. So now we've got to fix the two sprinkler heads and take a look at the valve. But before I fix the valve, I have to shut the water off. So the first thing to do is shut off this water supply. So now I'm going to take the valve apart and see if there's anything stuck inside. So all the screws are off. Let's take this off. Good flow. I don't see anything stuck inside there. Diaphragm doesn't look damaged. So I'm gonna put everything back how I found it. And now I'll just tighten them by hand to make sure. I don't like to over tighten them with a drill. So I just get them kind of loose and then make sure they're tight with a hand screwdriver here. Still running. So we turn it off again. So I've removed the valve again, and I'm going to turn this on and flush it out to see if there's anything in there that's not coming out. So I put everything back together. It's flushed. I'm going to turn it back on again and see what happens. Still turning itself back on. So it's still not shutting off, and now we have a problem. What do? Well, this is an old rain jet valve. They're extremely difficult to find replacement parts for, or even the whole valve. So in this particular case, it makes sense to just replace the whole valve. And I'll show you how to do that. So this is the old valve. It's sticking open. It's not shutting itself off. So this is a female by female valve, you can see here. So what we'll do is I'll take the solenoid off so it's easier to unscrew some things. I'll dig this up, cut this off, and we'll get the old valve out and put a new one in. Okay, so I've taken off the solenoid. It's easier to work around, and then I've dug out around the valve here itself and revealed the lateral line here. So now I've got two options. Well, maybe not just two options. I might have more. One, I can cut the PVC manifold and abandon the T and put in a new one. So we've got a female by female Rainbird here, and then the manifold would fit into this end right here on the right. I'll show you. So I would cut it here and abandon all this. This just goes out to a drain, and then glue this on there like that and put a male adapter there into the poly pipe. So that's one option, which would abandon the drain, but it'd be easy to get this on. Or another option would be to use a male by barb and simply take this out, cut this pipe, unthread this, and then thread in the male by barb into the PVC T here, and then add a little section of pipe and connect it to the lateral. So that's another option. But there could be yet another option. So let me get it fixed and I'll show you what I decided to do. So I removed the valve and I removed that small section of poly pipe without damaging the coupler. And I have another video that shows you how to do that right here. So now I've put a little bit more pipe on, put the clamps on, and this I'll cut down, but right now I left it a little long so I know exactly where to cut it. So here's what I'm going to use. So I've put a close nipple in here. This is a 1-inch diameter. And I'm going to put it in the manifold down there, the PVC. But this piece here, this is a Spears female by female connector. So it's got these big fat O-rings here that help seal things off. And the reason for this is it helps maintenance in the future if I have to remove the valve or fix the manifold. So now I'm going to put this into the PVC T here. I'll go hand tight, and then I'll use a pair of pliers to get it a little extra tight, but not over tighten it because it can crack this if you go too tight. So now I take my valve and get it close in here with that swivel joint and see my pipe is just the right length. So one of the advantages of using this is I can insert this barbed fitting into the poly pipe, and then this side will be lined up and I just have to tighten that. Now you can swivel and turn these as long as they're not clamped, but I like to get this in and then I can tighten it up over here. So with the barb inserted, I can put this down here and it lines up very nicely with this, and I can tighten this on. Okay, so now I've got my swivel connection in here. The nipple is tight, this is tight, and all these are clamped down here. The solenoid is off. Now I'm going to turn the water on and check it out. So there we go. Everything's nice and tight. No leaks. This is good. That water's moving is because someone's running the dryer vent and it's blowing right into the manifold. So nice and hot in here, but no leaks here. So we're good to go. Now all we have to do is connect the wires and test it with the clock. So I successfully turned off and on zone 3 a few times, and it is working properly. So with the valve fixed, now we got to replace the sprinkler heads. So this one's super fun because there's a ton of roots in here. So one sprinkler head replaced. Now we're on to the next one. So this is the one that had the split on it and was spraying the wood here. So we'll move the wood, but we'll replace this one too. Yeah, look at all these roots. Okay, got the old one out. Now we can put the new one in. And success. That one's replaced. And this one over here is replaced as well. And it looks good. So now I just fill in the dirt, ready to go. So this one was a little bit trickier than originally had planned. It was supposed to be maybe a leaking head, but it was one leaking head that was broken, but the other one was split, so we had two leaking heads. But the biggest problem was there was a broken valve that was not shutting off, and so it was the same valve that had those two heads, so there was a ton of water just pouring out of that zone.